Case: Etan Patz disappearance location, Manhattan, New York City. Date: May 25, 1979. Victim: Etan Patz, age 6. Case status: officially solved in court, still publicly debated. Some disappearances happen in darkness. Others happen in silence. But some happen in broad daylight, surrounded by people, in places where no one expects a child to simply vanish. New York City, 1979. A busy Friday morning. Cars moving through crowded streets. Children heading to school. Parents preparing for work. And somewhere inside the noise of Manhattan, a 6-year-old boy disappears without a trace. His name was Etan Patz. And decades later, his case still haunts America. Because this wasn't just a missing child investigation. It became the case that changed how parents viewed safety forever. May 25, 1979. Soho, Manhattan. At the time, the neighborhood looked very different from modern New York. Industrial buildings. Quiet side streets. Warehouse spaces. Etan Patz wakes up that morning excited. For the first time, his parents allow him to walk alone to the school bus stop. Only 2 blocks away. A short distance. A simple routine. His mother watches him leave. Etan wears a blue cap, blue pants, sneakers, and carries a small school bag. Before leaving, he tells his mother goodbye. No one realizes it will be the last time she sees him. Etan leaves the apartment building. The streets are active but ordinary. Witnesses later report seeing a young boy matching his description near the bus stop area. But Etan never boards the bus. At first, the situation seems confusing. Maybe he missed the bus. Maybe he wandered somewhere nearby. But as time passes, panic begins growing. His parents contact authorities. The search begins almost immediately. Police flood the neighborhood. Flyers are distributed. Officers search rooftops, basements, alleys, construction sites. Nothing. No trace of Etan Patz. And what terrifies investigators most is how quickly he disappeared. Because in a crowded city, someone should have seen something. But nobody could say exactly what happened. As news spreads, fear moves through New York City rapidly. Parents begin accompanying children to school. Communities organize volunteer searches. The media becomes heavily involved. Etan's photograph appears everywhere. For many Americans, this case feels different. Not only because Etan vanished, but because he vanished in broad daylight. The case receives national attention. Soon, Etan Patz becomes one of the first missing children whose image appears on milk cartons across America. The image becomes iconic. A smiling child frozen in time. And for millions of parents, that image creates a terrifying realization. Children can disappear anywhere, even during ordinary moments. Investigators pursue multiple theories. Some believe Etan was abducted by a stranger. Others believe someone familiar with the neighborhood targeted him. Possible witnesses emerge. Suspicious individuals are questioned. But evidence remains frustratingly limited. At the center of the investigation is one devastating reality. There is no confirmed crime scene. No body. No definitive forensic evidence. No clear suspect. And without physical evidence, the case becomes increasingly difficult to solve. Over the years, multiple individuals attract police attention. One man in particular, Jose Antonio Ramos. A convicted child offender with connections to Etan's neighborhood. Investigators believe Ramos may have had disturbing interests involving children. At one point, he allegedly makes statements investigators consider suspicious. But despite years of investigation, authorities never obtain enough evidence to charge him with Etan's disappearance. The case remains unresolved. And as years pass, hope begins fading. But Etan's family refuses to stop searching. For Etan's parents, the disappearance becomes a lifelong nightmare. Birthdays pass. Holidays pass. Years pass. But uncertainty remains. Because without answers, there's no closure. Only waiting. And waiting becomes its own form of suffering. Etan's father continues speaking publicly for years, advocating for missing children, keeping Etan's story alive. Because families of missing persons often face a unique kind of grief. Not knowing. Not being able to move forward. Always wondering, what happened? Was he scared? Could he still be alive? Those questions never fully disappear. More than 3 decades later, the case suddenly changes. In 2012, investigators question a man named Pedro Hernandez, a former convenience store worker connected to the neighborhood where Etan disappeared. During interrogation, Hernandez confesses. He claims he lured Etan into a basement. The confession shocks the country. After decades of mystery, people believe the case may finally be solved. But complications quickly emerge. Because the confession raises serious questions. Critics point to inconsistencies, mental health concerns, lack of physical evidence, changing details. Most importantly, Etan's body is never found. Still, prosecutors move forward. And eventually, Pedro Hernandez is convicted. But public debate never completely ends. Because some investigators believe critical questions remain unanswered. Whether fully solved or not, the Etan Patz case permanently changes America. After his disappearance, missing child awareness expands. New search procedures develop. Child safety campaigns grow nationwide. Parents become more cautious. Children are watched more closely. The case reshapes public awareness around child abductions forever. And even decades later, Etan's image remains one of the most recognizable missing child photographs in American history. Even now, people continue debating the case. Some believe Pedro Hernandez was responsible. Others remain uncertain. Because unlike many criminal cases, the Etan Patz investigation never produced definitive forensic evidence, a recovered body, or a completely clear reconstruction of events. And maybe that uncertainty is what still haunts people most. Because somewhere between the walk to the bus stop, the crowded streets, and the missing minutes, the truth disappeared too. The disappearance of Etan Patz represents more than one missing child case. It represents the moment America lost a sense of innocence. A child walking 2 blocks to school. A normal morning. A routine moment. And then, gone. No warning. No explanation. No clear ending. Only questions that survived for decades. And maybe the most chilling part of all is knowing how ordinary that morning looked before everything changed forever. What do you think? Do you believe the Etan Patz case was completely solved? Or do unanswered questions still remain? Let me know in the comments. And subscribe for more true crime investigations, cold cases, and unsolved mysteries. Because some disappearances never truly leave people behind. Sometimes, they remain frozen in time forever.